a little. You're dealing with a platform where key business people are in. They're using this same platform to drive profits. Because once we bring our idea or our product to the online market, we get conversion, you know? Now he's talking about the hardware and software and conversion. Everyone is agitated with bad governance. So if you're looking for conversion, like the way you're talking about the finance bill, people are agitated with the governance. So if mtandao is what everyone can access easily, conversion is there, honestly. You'd agree with me, we've seen many companies make a lot of profits from just, you know, online marketing. Watu wako kwenye mtandao, stop saying that the Gen Zs will not do anything just because they're based on the media. The media, whatever, social media platforms is a very key tool, and no one should be undermining what the people are doing there, because such people, when they speak like this, they want to demotivate people down. It's like you're not doing enough.
And before we come to Jared, don't you think that by even the government indicating the possibility that it may need to regulate social media, that is in itself is a realization that yes, social media is actually very consequential in this politics?
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, not to regulate because it is a threat, but to regulate because I think sometimes people go out of like to the extent of the freedom of expression. Sometimes I think they go, but not to the sense that government fears social media or something. But let me say this, you know, this thing about social media, is it just, how do I say it? To what extent does it really convert into votes? And you know, sometimes that social media narrative that may be so much inclined in the minds of people within Nairobi may not be certainly towards the entire country. If you go to coast, is it the same thing, this social media narrative that
and you can see how,
that's why
you can see how your statement.
For the people in Kakamega, somewhere in Shinyalu, or somewhere in Turkana,
Jared
how
is
does this really sit for ground?
Thank you very much, Fred. Mark, you have been talking about data. Check the latest data from the US election. I'll tell you that social media played a very vital role in that election. Not only now in the US, but even in Africa today. Social media is very vital and very pivotal in these campaigns and elections. So we are not going to wash it away, as you put it. Again, it's trying to put it like it is urban young people who are using social media. That's very wrong. When we have cousins, we have siblings back at home in the village, and we communicate with them. You see them on TikTok. You see them on Instagram today. It's cheaper than even WhatsApp today. They are all over. So you can't tell us that it's only on the urban youth who are using these platforms. You asked a question on the social media being restricted. Fred, I'll tell you that we can't go back to the dark days, the Moi era, where we fought for this constitution on freedom of expression. We can't go the Uganda way. This is Kenya. We can't go the Uganda way. We must agree. Our constitution is much supreme than the statement of the president of the day, or even the statement in the Bunge. Our constitution remains the supreme document that governs and protects us. Second, it's talking about incentives and incentives. Miriam, I've told you, and I'm repeating it again. The bad governance remains the most incentive that will push our young people to come to the polling units to vote for the government that they think is for them and they believe in. Another thing that we want to put very clear, that the data is talking about and the incentives and the social media, these things are taking a new direction. The convention is changing. I'll tell you, and you know that, you remember during the US election that Donald Trump then preferred the podcast where he could reach younger people compared to main media streams. And that shows you and tells you that the data they're talking about, if you go check and check again, plays a role. And maybe, I don't know where you get your data again. You're talking about the IBC data. That is the one for 2022. We are moving to 2027. We are 3 years off from 2022, bro. So sorry, check your data, man.
Okay. Mark, a response to that?
Yeah, you know, 2027 is very far.
No, it's not. It's about 2 years.
You see, 2027 is very far. In politics, a day is very long, yeah? And the campaigns have started. the politics has not started. When the politics starts, you'll see a lot of realignments. People will change sides. You'll be surprised even Gachagua may be looking at the optics and he may move to side of Ruto. The politics has not started. So by the way, when I talked about volatility, what I meant by volatility is that if you need people who can go for you to the streets, people who can make the largest noise, the people who can cause a lot of chaos, use ODM people. If you want to remove the rails or something like that, that's what I meant by
that's very wrong. Not removing the rails. We have been on the street, Fred. This is very wrong. We have been on the street agitating for good governance, not removing the rails.
But
Mark,
I saw the railway removed at some point, but that's political volatility. Anyway, what I was going to back, Kenyans vote on familiarity, okay? Kenyans vote on familiarity. Even if people say they do not want Ruto, what is the clear alternative for these young people? And that's something that you need to ask yourself. The narrowness to this is that in 2027, even if they are voting against Ruto, and remember in elections, people do not vote for somebody. People have heard all these lies. There's no politician who is going to come out so, I don't know, superb. They vote against something. Now in 2027, Ruto is going to compete with the most familiar names. That's what people are going to vote. It could be Kalonzo, it could be Matiang'i, I hear Maraga. It could be from that. They're not going to vote Morara Keba, so a fellow young people, because Kenyans vote on familiarity. Another thing that you also need to understand about Kenyans is that they vote so much based on emotions. Kenyan politics is around emotions. And if you really want to know if Kenyans, young people are really actually invested in politics, how many young people actually talks about bills that are being passed on parliament? Do they ever discuss about it? Any legislations that go around? No, I'm not talking about the active ones, those who are active in politics. I'm talking about the general consensus of the young people. Do they ever discuss about the bills being passed in parliament?
Last year was a testament to
that. That is one. That was one scenario. That's what I'm saying. I think like there's a mob mentality around the young people, especially when it comes to politics. I don't know, and I feel like it's more about excitement than a logical sense of...
Do we feel like something is building up currently, that there's a momentum, that something could be building up slowly, especially among the younger generation, and in connection to what we're anticipating as far as the budget making?